yourself have said previously that Putin cannot be trusted in negotiations. That was the point that President Zelensky was ultimately making during that conversation, is that there cannot be an agreement without security guarantees, because he was talking about all the ceasefire agreements before, or agreements that Putin has just blown past. I mean, do you still feel that way, that Putin cannot be trusted in these negotiations?
Well, I was there yesterday when the president said in front of the media that our approach is going to be trust but verify. President Trump's made deals his entire life. He's not going to get suckered into some deal that's not a real deal.
A highly anticipated meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky took an unexpected turn, exposing deep tensions over the ongoing war in Ukraine. According to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who was present in the Oval Office, what was supposed to be a formal signing of an economic agreement and peace agreement quickly escalated into a heated exchange about diplomatic efforts to bring an end to the conflict.
We all understand this. We understand it on our end for certain. And so the goal here is to get to a place where we have to explore whether peace is possible. I've said this repeatedly. I don't know. I think it is, based on what they've said so far, but we have to explore that. How else is this war going to end? I ask people, what is the European plan to end this war? I can tell you what one foreign minister told me, and I'm not going to say who it was, but I can tell you what one of them told me, and that is that the war goes on for another year. And at that point, Russia will feel so weakened that they'll beg for a peace. That's another year of killing, another year of dying, another year of destruction. And by the way, not a very realistic plan in my point of view. So if there's a chance of peace, even if it's a 1% chance, that needs to be explored. And that's what President Trump is trying to do here.
The Trump administration has been working to broker negotiations between Ukraine and Russia, but Zelensky expressed skepticism, citing Russia's repeated violations of past agreements. His comments, particularly questioning the viability of diplomacy, appeared to challenge Trump's approach, which Rubio later described as frustrating and counterproductive to peace efforts.
President Trump said just when he was leaving the White House after that meeting that he doesn't think President Zelensky wants peace. But isn't that why the Ukrainian leader was in the Oval Office for that meeting today?
Well, he was in the Oval Office to sign a minerals rights deal. That's what he was in the Oval Office to sign today. But again, when you have comments that deliberately appear to be after having discussed this repeatedly, deliberately appear to be geared towards making the argument that peace is not possible. Again, he turns to the vice president. What kind of diplomacy are you talking about? Almost as if to say, these people, you can't deal with them. You can't have any negotiations with Putin because he can't be trusted, and you're just wasting your time on negotiations. Well, he's directly, basically undermining everything the president has told him he's trying to do. Look, there's no need for that. You start to suspect, does he really want an end to this war? Does he just think that, we have to do whatever he says and give him anything he wants without any end game? That was the Biden strategy. We were funding a stalemate. We were funding a meat grinder. And unfortunately, for the Ukrainians, the Russians have more meat to grind, and they don't care about human life. We've seen it, human waves, the North Koreans, etc. And so this is a very complex thing. It's very delicate. It's very costly. It's very bloody. It needs to be brought to an end, but it isn't going to be brought to an end with public pronouncements and maximalist demands in the public, but in real diplomacy. The vice president was right.
Following the meeting, President Trump suggested that Zelensky might not be fully committed to reaching a negotiated settlement, a statement that raises concerns about the future of U.S.-Ukraine relations. Trump has consistently positioned himself as a dealmaker focused on ending conflicts, and his administration sees negotiations as the only realistic path to peace. However, the sharp divide between the two leaders in the Oval Office now casts doubt on whether a resolution is achievable. Rubio reinforced that the U.S. remains committed to pursuing diplomatic solutions but stressed that successful negotiations require cooperation from all sides. This development leaves many unanswered questions about the next steps in the war and whether tensions between Trump and Zelensky will hinder future peace talks. As the international community watches closely, the stakes remain high, with thousands of lives on the line. Will diplomacy prevail, or will these divisions deepen an already complex conflict? The coming days will be crucial in determining whether the U.S. can still play a central role in brokering a lasting peace agreement.